Hi, my name is Jay Kors, and I'm one of the vision application engineers here at KMV Systems. And today we wanted to give you a behind the scenes look at our smart AI technology that we are using in our systems. The smart AI technology is our latest AI tool that allows us to kind of find those anything, anywhere type defects that are often hard to or impossible to get with traditional vision tools. We've got some samples here that we're going to run through together and show some different defect types that we're able to catch. And we're looking at some 1 gallon plastic containers to do so. So on the left-hand side, we have a die line defect, which is pretty large, very, very gross defect. But we are doing a couple neat things with the vision and optics here as well to see a little more of the bottle than we would with just a single camera. So we actually have the part in our view on the left side, and then over to the right, we've got a mirror. And so potentially we can see some defects that actually fall on the backside of the part. And that is true for both of these images I'm showing. So the left side, we've got a parting or a die line defect, excuse me. And we can even see that in the mirrored image as well. And we'll show that that can be caught on both of those, kind of giving us double security that we will get the defect. On the right image, we're looking at some punctures in the plastic. And of course, these are on the left side of the container, which is not visible in the mirror. But we have other samples. We've got a number of samples that we can go through and take a look. But I wanted to talk about the AI specifically. And what this does is it allows us to go through and train a number of good samples and create a neural network, which is used as the tools. And then we can challenge it with good and bad samples. And this process is very similar to an operator. And in fact, we should say the AI tool is a lot like your best operator on their best day every day, because you can train them, and from then on, they should be able to be consistent about picking out what's good and bad. So let's get into the vision software, and right away we see some defects. And what we've done is we've done two different neural networks. One that applies to the larger image of the bottle, or kind of the direct image of the bottle, and then we'll have another AI tool for the mirrored image we'll show over here after we've gone through a couple of these samples. So right here, right off the bat, we're looking at some punctures, and we're catching those pretty easily. Not too much of a problem at all, really, with AI. And as we go through here, I can find a couple other images of different defect types. Let's see. Skim through a handful of the punctures. We've got quite a bit of those. Here we go. Here's some die lines, and these look great. We're able to pick that up, and we get a nice heat map feedback from the AI tools as well. So this is very, very useful, especially as we're developing, to know that we are finding, in fact, the right defects that we are trying to achieve. Let me filter this just to show only our bad images. Of course, we did have some good images, so the ones we went through and showed the AI tool as an example of what it should be finding, or what we should be producing, are these guys here. But if I go back to just the bad ones, we can see a number of different samples of the die line, different severities of the punctures as well. So overall, very, very good application. And you could probably see where this would be difficult using standard traditional tools as opposed to the smart AI that we can use here. So let's go ahead and switch over to the mirrored image, which is going to be very similar, but we can see some of the defects and kind of how they came through. Real quick, I'll show some of our good samples here. We had less bad samples because a lot of the bad samples we had in these images fell out of the mirrored view, but that's okay. So as we go through, we can actually see part of the original image over here, but that's not in our mirror. So these are the good images that we trained off of, and that's what we told the AI that it should be seeing, that's okay to see, and then our bad samples that we challenged it with. And this is a very, very faint one. We're almost on the edge of the image, but it's still got it. We've got a die line starting to form, and the AI tool was able to pick that out. A little bit more gross. I believe this one has the container scooted to the left a little bit, so a little more in the field of view. And as we go along here, same kind of thing. We're seeing that die line very, very far to the edge. Here's another one, almost a full die line we can see there. And we're getting much larger defects here. And as we do, of course, we can find those very, very nicely. I don't believe we have any punctures on this view, so I won't be able to show that, but I think we get a pretty good idea of what the Smart AI allows us to do and how gross these defects really can be, and how we can find both gross and fine defects as well with the Smart AI. Well, I hope this video has been informational. If you have any questions or have any more interest that you'd like to look into this, please visit us at our website, kmvvision.com, or send us an email at info@kmvvision.com. Thank you.